1, 2, 3,000. Oh, hey, you caught me doing my pull-ups. Over the past few years of my pole journey, I've gotten tons of really hard moves. Off the pole, I've been shredding the weights at the gym, continuing the weight training I've been loving since I was 15 years old. So you'd think if I can do all that stuff, I could do a pull-up, right? On March 16th of last year, I posted 2 clips of me struggling to do pull-ups with the caption, "I'm gonna need my fellow bottom-heavy babes to chime in here because I'm a little sick of getting nowhere with pull-ups despite turning my body into a prime slab of vegetarian beef by working out all the gosh darn time. Am I putting my hands in the wrong spot? Not engaging my shoulders? Simply built to stand mightily on the ground and ne'er take to the air?" To clarify, me calling myself bottom-heavy is not a criticism of my body, but like, a fact. Yes, I'm built like a pro wrestler on top, but that top is attached to a bottom that's built like a thunderstorm wrapped around pillars of stone. For every ounce of beef I'm serving in my shoulders, I'm cooking up twice as much in my thighs. You get what I'm saying. It's why it's taken me so long to get consistently good at pole moves like inverts, because when you're trying to get a giant ass over your head, things get more difficult. Anyway, people left very useful comments on my post, mostly to use the assisted pull-up machine or to use bands. So armed with the advice from them, it was time to get serious about getting my first pull-up. And to be very clear here, I am talking about where your hands are facing away from you and you're pulling yourself up from a hanging position until your chin is over the bar, like in this video from this fitness creator. A lot of people mix up chin-ups, which I can do, with pull-ups, which for some reason I can't. My first attempt was November 23rd, 2024. Don't ask me why it was that day. It is not anywhere near March 16th when I first asked for help. And here I am using a bouncy half ball to reach up for the pull-up bars to try to pull myself up from the ground. December 4th, I'm doing the same thing. Hey, this actually looks pretty good. And then I tried the monkey bars just for fun and got my ass handed to me. Again, I can do very hard things on a vertical bar, but apparently moving my body weight on a horizontal bar is too much. Here's my camera slowly panning up as I do a pretty controlled chin up into a hang. And then I did the worst pull-ups yet. I can barely even count these as attempts. Oh no, is this the progress isn't linear portion of the video already? So yeah, I was getting ahead of myself, ignoring the tips for building up to a pull-up that the comments had given me. I was also doing some really shoulder-dominant pole stuff around this time, like this twisted grip airwalk and this butterfly handstand, and this is when I should probably reveal that I spent a bunch of time this past year doing physical therapy because I find the exact motion of a pull-up pretty iffy on my left side. We focused on imbalances between my shoulders and how my left shoulder feels like it's being pinched but also hyperextended but also crunchy, especially in movements like a pull-up. And the physical therapist was like, okay, I respect that a full pull-up is your goal, but how about we do these other motions building up to it before jumping right in? Does that sound familiar to those of you who commented on my original post? Anyway, after my failures, I decided to take his advice. Here's me setting up a TRX row, which is a similar motion but with some of the load taking out of the shoulders and is impossible to get a good angle of, good lord. But if I was failing the full attempts, I really should build up the strength with other exercises first and do that. And then, so here's me doing another full attempt and completely psyching myself out and regressing worse and not even lifting myself up at all. But if you remember my best exercises for pole dancers in the gym video, in which I talked about my ability to hang being shit, I'm happy to report that I more than doubled my hang time over the course of 2024. That doesn't necessarily translate into being able to do a pull-up, but it's something. Okay, I made it a New Year's resolution for 2025. Get a pull-up. So now I must do it. Okay, January 4th, 2025, New Year, same me going for a full attempt and forgetting the TRX row, but damn, I almost got it here. I had to do this little kip to get my chin up, but if this were one fluid motion, I would count it as a pull-up. Looks like this journey will be over in no time. Just fucking kidding, because here I am on January 19th trying my pull-ups on a slightly different setup and not getting up there. Around this time, Instagram was serving me up videos of other women doing pull-ups, and I came across this comment to someone who was failing in almost the exact same way I was. You're also doing the hardest version of a pull-up, which is a wide stance pull-up. I find those specific bars to be insanely uncomfortable because they are designed more for a male wingspan than a woman's. If you can find a straight bar, it might be easier to achieve. So you're telling me this has been men's fault all along? I knew it. That rang a bell for me. I feel like my strength is pretty much there, but it's just so hard to cover that full distance so my chin can peek over the top because my arms are so wide. Here's a closer look at the pull-up bar so you can see an extra problem. For me to be even able to hold on without having my arms nearly in a T, I have to grab halfway on the actual bar and halfway on the plain metal because, as that woman pointed out, this was not designed for me. But then that day I did the motherfucking monkey bars, so that was very exciting. I must be building some sort of strength. The multitude of you who suggested adding a band for support while attempting pull-ups will be happy to know that it only took me until February 12th to finally listen. Instead of trying to get up there from a half ball, I dragged a bench over, looped a band over, stuck my foot in the band, and then a choir of angels sang. I was doing it! Pull-up after pull-up after pull-up! My chin was going over the bar! How annoying is it that I waited this long to try what you said to do all along? A couple of weeks later, I got my first ever extended butterfly on the pole, so I actually feel like my shoulders and back are stabilizing a bit from all this work I've been doing. Anyway, I guess this is the boring progress takes time part of the video, in which I will be just doing band-assisted pull-ups until I don't need the band. I don't actually know how much weight the band is supporting. The only information I can tell you about it is, it's green. But it sure lets me work on the motion. Also, my shoulder mounts are finally coming back. Potentially unrelated, but it seems like consistently working on specific upper body strength is helping in lots of ways. It was all going so well that on April 5th, I tried to graduate from the green band to a much thinner blue one, and okay, damn, it really felt like nothing was helping me out. And then when I tried to film myself using the green one again, my phone fell over. Okay, here I am, checking in on the full pull-ups, starting from the bench. Okay, it looks about the same as it did when I started. I need to not rush this process. It's going to take time to build up the strength, Kelsey. Time for the trusty green band again. Also, Instagram served me up some more badass ladies doing pull-ups, and here's a woman doing false grip pull-ups. Her wrists are holding her up, not even her fingers. I am so in awe of strong women. Time for the green band again, and oh god, what the hell is this angle? Let me cut to something else. Here's me attempting an unassisted chin-up, and failing. And then failing to even try an unassisted pull-up. My brain got in the way here for sure. A mental block, combined with me refusing to admit that just because I can do some assisted pull-ups doesn't mean I am ready at all for a full one. I conducted a survey on Instagram around this time. I asked, can you do a pull-up? 39% said yes, and I'm a pole dancer, while only 3% said yes, and I'm not a pole dancer. 45% said no, and I'm a pole dancer, and 13% said no, and I'm not a pole dancer. So that means 58% of my followers, a majority of whom are fellow pole dancers, can't do this movement. I thought that was interesting. On May 2nd, I decided to try using the monkey bars, which are slightly rounded but almost straight, instead of the far apart grips on my usual pull-up stations. I didn't have high hopes, but was that a pull-up?
Was that the bite of 87?
Yes, my legs curled forward like a shrimp, and yes, I didn't start from a complete dead hang, but I pulled myself up and got my chin over the top of the bar with no bands or assistance. You might think that's the end of the video. Mission accomplished, right? I even went back and did another one for good measure. But I can already hear people calling me out for my bad form, and I'd really like to not shrimp up to do this for real with solid form. So I'm going to give myself another month to perfect my pull-ups. I'll be honest, I was really struggling to find a balance between gym training and pole classes without just exhausting my upper body constantly, so here I am adding a pull-up type movement onto my pole training, a solid pencil spin. And here's me realizing how hard an actual pole pull-up is without jumping into it or spinning. On May 10th, I returned to the monkey bars to try a few repetitions with the skinny little red band, and like my experiment before with the blue band, this actually did less than nothing for me. So I added another band. I'm feeling pretty strong though, so strong I busted out the monkey bars after this pull-up training. I can feel myself getting stronger and my form getting better, even though somehow I'm trading problems. Pulling myself up the first inch used to be the hardest part, and now it's the last heft to get my chin up. But no matter, I'm training a lot. I've even started consuming a bunch more protein. I'll surely meet my goal of a consistent, solid pull-up very soon. And then, sickness. Nothing major, just a persistent cold, but that meant no pole classes or going to the gym, not even exercising at all, just trying to rest. No pull-up training, no progress. Despite my frustration, I found some videos of other aerialists sharing the same struggle. They can do incredible things on the pole, but a traditional pull-up is very hard for them. I'm not alone. Even though I may be regressing or struggling, I'm not alone. So remember just a minute ago when I said, I'm going to give myself another month. You may see how much time is remaining in this video and already be able to tell that was a lie. But anyway, May 28th, here I am, back in my trans rights are non-negotiable muscle tee, back to it with the green band. Feeling pretty good about training the reps. And then I went to a whole ass other place to stage manage for 2 months. Now at an elevation of 7,000 feet, that's like at least 100 meters for you Europeans, I resumed my green band training. And I was pleased to note that the elevation that normally kicks my ass didn't seem to be killing me this time around. Consistent training is good, who knew? So then I try to pull up on real pull-up bars, and it is just not getting easier. Okay, either I never trained pull-ups this summer or I just never filmed, but here's this horrific angle. Then me trying deadlifts for the first time and pulling 175 pounds, which is something like 90 to 100% of my body weight, which drives me a little insane that I can do that easily, but not pulling up my body. More than a full month later, my camera was so annoyed by my lack of consistency that it tipped over, refusing to film me. Don't think I was entirely inactive this whole time. I was going to pole open gyms, doing other upper body stuff, putting on an energetic 90-minute Shakespeare comedy, but I was rarely just devoting time and energy to pull-up training. So, okay, here we are again, back at 1,000 feet elevation, my home gym, my green bands. Look at those back muscles. When I finish a stage managing gig, I end up with so much time on my hands, so it's time to recommit to my pull-up progress. I also committed to adding at least 10 more grams of protein to my diet each day because maybe that's what's been holding me back? Please look at me being able to lift myself off the ground in this position on the pole while still not being able to do a pull-up. I also decided to add more ab workouts to my routine because your core is part of what helps you do a pull-up, right? So here I am pretending I'm on that final draft show doing inverted crunches. Please ignore me threatening to strangle myself with the green band. The pull-ups are coming along. I also decided to mess around with handstands. No, I'm not losing focus because pull-ups are taking so long. Wait, damn it, this is another clip of me doing handstands. Focus. Okay, here's me on the assisted pull-up machine where the grips are not where I want them to be, having to add many more pounds of support than I feel like I should need at this point. Nothing feels like it's helping. If I see one more handstand clip in here... So then I thought, what if I tack my pull-ups onto a leg day when my arms aren't even tired? And watch me have a mental block that keeps me from even trying. Now, I try hard not to be a quitter when things get tough. It's the reason I keep doing pole, even though I'm, most of the time, the worst at it. It's the reason I 100% completed the original Crash Bandicoot on the PlayStation, no big deal, but this is starting to feel like a moral failing at this point. I somehow feel like I'm failing women by being incapable of doing this, failing the pole community by not proving how strong we are, failing my big old beefy body, which apparently exists just to look sexy but not do what I want it to do. Am I maybe refusing to make a serious organized plan for progress here because I think I should be able to do this already, and it bothers me a lot that I can't? So I keep trying to jump into the full pull-up, ignoring everyone's tips for progression, because how hard can it be to move my own stupid body up and down? So here I am at the green bands again, feeling difficult. Let me try again on the almost straight monkey bars. Another complete mental block. What am I afraid of? The ground is right there. The bench is even closer. Man, this sucks. I asked people on Instagram about what to do, and people suggested training with a band. Or changing my grip, which would not be the traditional pull-up I'm going for. I'm tired of this. It's time, the third or fourth time, to get really real. I'm committing for serious now. I have about a month before I go on a trip, and I want my pull-up before then. Here I am practicing a dead hang. My shoulders are engaged. Huge congrats to shoulders. Here I am on the assisted pull-up machine. Back to basics, taking it slow. Green band. Beef alert. Trying a full pull-up, then doing my hangs. Using the assisted machine. Also, handstand footage, get out of here. And then I got pulled into emergency stage managing a show that rehearsed 6 days a week halfway across town. Then suddenly it was time for my trip, and I didn't have my pull-up. Here are some foxes in London, though. So, I didn't accomplish that goal, but I still had about 2 months left of the year. I could still achieve my resolution. Green band, terrible angle. Feeling weak after weeks of inconsistency. Although I did get my first ever aerial ballerina on the pole, so if this were a video about that thing I've been trying to do for years, then we'd be all set. Here I am adding in some wrist strengthening exercises because I feel like part of my problem is that my wrists or hands can't bear my weight well enough to even let my back muscles engage, so wrist curls, green band pull-ups. I'm trying to listen to everyone's tips, trying not to skip ahead. I am feeling stronger. Here's me holding a pencil spin on the pole for 3 to 5 business days. This is working! A little Thanksgiving Park pull-up attempt. Can't quite get my chin over, but it's looking good. A full attempt. Looking pretty good. Sure, I can't ever get a second rep in, but surely this is a pull-up. Mission accomplished, right? Still wanting to make sure I wasn't about to get any comments about my form, I took to Instagram to ask my followers, would you count this as one full pull-up? A few of you said that yes, you would, so looks like we're done here. Wait, why am I about to repeat something I said earlier in the video, but this time in dramatic slow motion? I am talking about where your hands are facing away from you and you're pulling yourself up from a hanging position until your chin is over the bar.
From a hanging position. From a hanging position, dumb bitch.
So, despite me posing that question to my Instagram followers, in my heart of hearts, I guess I already knew the answer. It doesn't count unless I'm actually hanging first. Oh no. There's only a month left of the year, but if I really focus up, go back to the drawing board, do my machine-assisted pull-ups, I'll definitely get it. Except then I didn't make any other attempts until December 19th, because I will admit it, I was very disheartened, and also sick a few times. This, believe it or not, was a pull-up attempt from a hang, and this, oh my god, handstand! In my green band assisted timeout, my note from this day, this sucks, I hate this, JK. My camera getting so panicked at the thought of me not accomplishing my resolution that it tips itself over. But check out this angle of me getting the full damn range of motion. Look at me go! Do not think about how this is with 50 of my own pounds supported by the machine. So then it was Christmas, and then it was my last pull-up attempt of the year. Here's a side-by-side of me on December 28th from last year and this year. Well, I didn't do it. I didn't get a real pull-up, as defined by apparently me and a bunch of you out there. I'm not even sure I got much closer to doing it. This is usually the part of the video where I've accomplished the thing I set out to do, and I talk about how proud I am of myself. After all, you guys barely see me once a year on here anymore, and this is the big project I worked on for the whole year. In many ways, this is a disappointment. However, let me attempt to reframe it for me and for you. Pull-ups are hard as hell. So is pole dancing. And I've learned a million times that trying to skip the fundamentals to go right into something really tough doesn't work. And neither does beating yourself up for not starting at the finish line. I'll be totally transparent. I didn't even look at tutorials for pull-up form until December, and I often ignored your really good advice because I was that convinced I could do it without any help. So this is a good reminder that progress isn't linear, pull strength does not equal pull-up strength, and consistency is important if you want to reach your goals. If nothing else, this project served to humble me, and probably frustrate you watching at home, sorry. But I'm not giving up. Hey, are you using that green band?